Hello, I'm FPX Toycat, and 1.17 is increasing both the height limit and the depth limit of Minecraft for the very first time, and a lot of people's first question in response to that is like, so how exactly will we mine diamonds after this update? What will be the new best Y level for this? And we have a direct response from King B Dogs, one of the developers, which is the ore distribution hasn't been adjusted yet, which confirms they are in fact going to be adjusting the way the ore spawn. Because right now you go to about Y11 or 12, honestly anything below Y15, and you're going to find yourself some diamonds, right, in varying quantities. So how would that work after this update? And so here is a little diagram of the old world versus the new world and how it works. It's always a fun diagram to show off, but let's add on to the diagram ourselves by showing you roughly where you find diamonds in an old world, below Y15, and then what that looks like in the new style world if you kept that same rule. As you can see, diamonds just spawn everywhere around there, and it's just too much, in my opinion, to have more than half of the underground spawn in diamonds. So the easiest fix that most people see them doing is reducing, layer 15 down to its equivalent after the new update. So you'd have to look between about -50 and -64 and you'd find diamonds in there. The exact perfect layer would be about -52, of course. But obviously, I don't imagine that's what they're going to do. This is the easiest path to take, in my opinion. If they were to not put any thought into it, of course, this would happen. However, consider that they have mentioned they do want to change ore distribution around. It was one of the very first things they announced about 1.17 at Minecraft Live. And then obviously we have this backup confirmation tweet where they said they are going to be adjusting ore distribution. And when you take those two things together, it seems to me like they're going to be removing this rule where all you have to do is strip mine at -50 or whatever, because that's not particularly compelling Minecraft. Instead, I imagine they want to have you explore caves or find clues or do some form of more skill-based thing, and so you might start to see random splodges of diamonds. So when you find a diamond vein, you know, for instance, you're near other diamond veins, or it could go an entirely different way and they could use some other clue to lead you towards those things. However, given they've said they're going to be doing this with copper, given they said this is the plan for ores in the future, I imagine we'll see something like this in the near future. Obviously, my diagram is just something I made in MS Paint. It's not the official finalized version, but it is one of those features they are going to be playing around with before the end of 1.17, and that's what the next 6 months will be spent doing. With that said, let's move into the second question from Alex N, who says, I feel like ocean ruins on land are more common than expected. I can name at least 3 different times I've encountered one each on a separate seed. And it's really interesting because, yeah, I feel like I've encountered too many too for it to be a pure random glitch, but also too few for it to be an intentional feature. But in the most recent Ask Mojang, we got this really interesting tidbit from Lady Agnes.
Long time ago now, for Update Aquatic, when I worked on the ocean ruins, I remember I got the placement of them a bit wrong, so they ended up on land. But that looked kind of cool. So I actually decided to keep it, so they now can either generate like on the beaches, not like the mountains, that would be weird, but close to water and also underwater.
Yeah, I mean, not like the mountains. That would be weird, of course. That's never happened in the history of Bedrock. Here's this famous seed from one of the Seed Sundays last year. I enjoyed that a lot. Anyway, with that said, the interesting thing here is that it is actually intentional. And so if you thought the ocean ruins are on land just a bit too much, it was an intentional feature from Lady Agnes. And isn't that fun? Isn't that cute? With that said, let's move on to the next question. Speaking of cute, from Pink Elf. By the way, this is Q&A Saturday, the weekly series where I answer your questions. Have you worked that out yet? But Pink Elf asks, what could possibly be the worst features of Caves and Cliff? Basically, in 1.17, we've got a lot of great features. I've said that unequivocally, my favorite feature right now that has been added is probably the ability to go higher and lower. That is going to change Minecraft for years to come. But what's going to change Minecraft for years to come in a bad way? And there's actually a lot of tiny ways you could see this one. So, for instance, the changing of the ore distribution, even though I think it's going to be a good thing, I'm willing to relearn how to mine in Minecraft because I think it'll be more fun. A lot of people aren't going to like that you can't just go down to Y11 and strip mine and get yourself 100 diamonds. I think for the longest time, that hasn't been the most effective way to get diamonds anyway, but I think a lot of people aren't going to like that their knowledge becomes obsolete. Think about the combat update. Like, people, even though the combat was very rough before the combat update, people still defended it as being the best combat because it's what they learned. It's what they got good at, and they hate the system that comes afterwards because they have to learn a new set of skills. I mean, people hate it for other reasons too, but that's the gist of why there's a huge backlash against it. I mean, when there is a change, it's very hard to adapt to that. And in the same way, the thing that will catch people off guard the most, though, and maybe be rage-inducing, is if you fall on a stalagmite. Yep, G for ground. If you fall on a stalagmite, then obviously that's going to hurt you seriously. And if a stalactite falls on you, even though you had no idea it was coming, then obviously that's going to hurt you. And even though they're not meant to happen naturally, in the same way gravel and sand always spawn almost falling, and then they just come and hit you, and it's really rough, I think that's going to happen with stalactites, and it's going to hurt a lot of people's feelings, and they're going to go, why does this exist at all? And you know what? I can see that happening to me in a few months. But yes, stalactites and stalagmites are cool, but maybe we'll be considered the worst after this. We don't really know until the update's out what the worst features are. There are a lot of never update features that are like, I guess they added that, and we'll see how that goes in the future. With that said though, let's move to the next question from Vic the Cuber. Why does your third channel exist? What motivated you to create it? So yeah, on the third channel recently, there's been a lot of electric scooter videos that are catching people off guard because, I mean, before that it was McDonald's and hotel review. Basically, I have a third channel that consists of very bizarre videos, and people ask, why do you do this? I mean, clearly it's not the moneymaker based on comparing the view counts to the main channel or whatever else. So, the reason for it is actually just that, I had a second channel. I love that on the second channel I could just upload whatever. I didn't care, like outtakes, bad things, just things that didn't make sense to be on YouTube without affecting my main channel and like what people assumed off it. And then the second channel got kind of big with the geography videos, and then I was like, okay, I'll make a third channel and I'll upload my garbage there. If I just want to play a game randomly and go fishing or whatever, we'll do that. And so yeah, that's what the third channel's there for. It's just whatever I want to upload somewhere, like I want to make a video, but I don't really want to make a good video. And so that's what the third channel is all about. And that might be the most uninspiring reason to have a channel, but you better believe I have it anyway. So yeah, I've been enjoying scootering. I do a little walkie-talkie while I do it, and it's really fun. Anyway, with that said, let's move into the next question, shall we? Which comes in from Stephen Poston, who says, do you think the Deep Dark will have anything to do with the new ores, mobs, or a new playstyle to the meta? So we know for a fact there's only going to be one new ore in the cave update. It's going to be copper ore. They've said they're not adding any more after that. So I don't think there'll be new ores down there, but I think we might see better distributions of diamonds if you're willing to go into the Deep Dark. I imagine, just like the idea earlier, like you could find diamond pockets anywhere below Y0, hypothetically, but I imagine they'll be best located somewhere near that to give you a reward for going down there. My second theory about this is, what if the Deep Dark is just a really common biome at the same layers where you happen to find the redstones, the lapis, and the diamonds of the world? What if you could find all of those things in much higher abundance if you're willing to take the risk of the warden, you're willing to take the risk of the darkness, etc, etc, etc. It could be kind of like a risk-reward thing, giving you more options for mining underground. You can take the safe mining route of going through normal caves, or there's the Deep Dark where you might find a vein of 30 lapis lazuli or a vein of 24 diamonds or something. That would be really interesting to see, and that's the new playstyle that I think will be added. I think they want to make exploration underground entirely possible. That's why they're adding cave biomes. That's why they're adding a brand new Deep Dark scary version of that, and that's how I think they're going to reward you. But it could be that they just reward you with some new block, maybe that new stone type that we see in those Deep Darks is what it's going to be about. I don't know for sure, I just know it's kind of interesting. Also, you've got a cat as your profile picture, Stephen Poston. It's very cute. Anyway, with that said, let's move into the next question, which comes in from LJ, who has been subscribed for a long amount of time based on their badge. Have you ever thought about starting another Let's Play series on another world and correct maybe the stuff you don't like on your current Let's Play world? Personally, I think not liking some of the things you built on Minecraft is a perfectly natural and normal thing, don't get me wrong. I do hate a lot of things and wish like, wow, I wish I'd done that differently, but I also think there's a beauty in seeing that and being able to change it at any time. I love that I have the one Let's Play world that's been going since 2012. Unless there is a really compelling reason, I don't intend to ever scrap it. However, I might do like a temporary hardcore series or a temporary, like 100-day series perhaps that is in the works right now. I like the idea of doing like temporary bizarre projects that I could never do in my Let's Play world on a temporary world. But as far as long term, I love that like 8 years in, I can still spot those weird mistakes I made in 2012, 2013, 2014. Even things that I did a couple of years ago, I'm like, why did I do this? There's something beautiful about seeing your history reflected. I think in the same way that like every now and then you find a social media post from a few years ago and you're like, oh, this is awful. I want to hide this, delete this, whatever. Glad no one's coming back for that. Or if you're a celebrity, people go back and find those and use those to shame you as a person and argue that you shouldn't have a job. But like, you know, like using these like examples of your past is like, oh, I don't like that person. I think that's good. I think seeing your past is very useful, because if you don't know what you used to be, you don't know what you will be. I think seeing your Minecraft world's important, because if you don't know how you used to do Minecraft, you don't know how you've improved, and you don't appreciate the changes which are happening to you all the time. And I think that you should appreciate changes that are happening to you all the time. Speaking of those changes, we're going to change question, because Gator Gabe asks, did the Nether world height change as well? And the answer is, in the snapshot it did change. However, I made a video talking about how now we could officially have deeper oceans, or we could have a higher end, or Nether, like those were now possibilities for future updates. And in response, I got this message from King B Dogs, who says, from a technical and even gameplay perspective, this would be a massive change, something we have no plans for in Caves and Cliffs. It does, however, mean we have the technology to do it if we wanted to explore that in the future. Basically saying that, yeah, in future updates, they could take a look at doing that, but it's not going to be in Caves and Cliffs. So 1.17 is not going to be the update that increases the height of the Nether or decreases the depth of the Nether, but it is a tool for the future. And just to follow that up, King B Dogs also said, good to clarify, just because we have the technology doesn't mean it's a good idea. World height is a tool, not a one-fits-all solution. So just because if hypothetically 1.18 is the jungle update, they're not going to make 300 block tall jungles. They have the access to do those things. If they have a end update, they're not going to make a 300 block tall end or a 64 block deep end, but it's one of the tools they can use if it fits one of their ideas. And I look forward to seeing that being done in the future. Personally. Speaking of things I'm looking forward to being done in the future personally, we have this next question, which comes in from Cameron Rennie, who says, what would super flat worlds generated in 1.17 be like? And it's a really good question, actually. In case you're curious about what any old world would look like generated in 1.17, Henrik Nieberg, one of the developers, said the new extended underground isn't done. This is just the first snapshot for it, and we got a bunch of things to fix and tweak. And your feedback and bug reports will help guide us. Also in the snapshot, old worlds won't load/convert, but don't worry, they will later. So an old world generated from before this will presumably keep generating with the bedrock layer at Y0. However, hypothetically, if you broke that bedrock in creative or whatever, I assume you'd be able to place blocks below it in new chunks. Again, we don't know how they're going to take existing chunks, that's a thing. But the more interesting part of your thing is like, so how will you make a super flat world? Like, will you generate with the bedrock layer being at Y0, or will it be generated at Y-64 by default? And this is an interesting question about Minecraft as a whole. Will -64 be seen as the new bedrock layer, or will 0 be the default bedrock layer for super flats, and then -64 is the you can be quirky and add a bunch of blocks there? I would imagine -64 is that, but we don't know the answer until later, and that's one of the many fascinating questions about this update. Speaking of fascinating questions about this update, Zarke Mango wants an update on me. Wow, how nice of you to ask. Hey Toycat, if you get to travel this year, where is somewhere that you would want to go? I actually don't assume that, like, if you're in the UK, I don't think international travel is a very easy thing and won't be during the summer, so like I wasn't expecting to do anything like go explore the UK or something. However, because of legal visa reasons, I have to be inside of America for at least a few months of this year, so I'm gonna be there soon. And also because for legal reasons I can't go to America if I've been in the UK, I have to then go into a third country, which means I'm in Mexico for a few months. You know, like usually this is like a dream thing for people, but for me it's like, oh yeah, I like have to go to this place, and then that's a legal requirement so I can get to the place that I need to be. So yeah, I'm gonna be in Mexico, and I'm gonna have to deal with the fact that a lot of people are just gonna like see one tweet where I'm in Mexico, be like, oh, Toycat, you shouldn't be having a vacation right now, and I'm like, this is a legally required visa thing. It's gonna be a whole fun thing that I am enjoying, looking forward to. But no, yeah, I guess I'm at least lucky that it's gonna work in some way, unless something changes in the next couple of months. And so yeah, between April and August, I'm not gonna be at home. Gonna be a whole tragedy, and I'm gonna be putting a lot more effort into making sure the sound works. It's gonna be something I spend a lot of time, no doubt a lot of money on, but I want to make sure we can record videos seamlessly. It's just streams might have some issues there. Also, another announcement I want to make is that this Tuesday, so 3 days from now, if I understand my days of the week correctly, I'm gonna be reviewing your versions of my Let's Play world. If you don't already know, my Let's Play world is on the marketplace. I'm so excited. It means anyone can download my world. A lot of people have been making their own special special changes to it, I'm going to be doing a realm review where I specifically look at those changes that people have made. So just add Toycat and CCCCC to your world title, invite me on Xbox or, you know, like on Minecraft accounts, but it's actually Xbox. Invite Toycat to your world, add Toycat and CCCCC in the title, and I look forward to seeing all of your worlds. I was going to have a prize, but like YouTube freaked out last time I gave out a prize and reward for something, so we just won't. The prize will be the honor and glory of all of the YouTube comments liking what you say. I don't know, it seems dumb to me too. But with that said, I'm looking forward to checking out all of your worlds on Tuesday. So make sure it's done and etc. by Tuesday. I just wanted to make an announcement about that because a lot of people are excited. With that said, thank you for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, because I'll see you all next time, unless there's a house fire. I mean, can house fires get me if I'm in a hotel for 2 weeks? I don't know the answer to that question. We'll find out in April, I guess. Okay, thank you for watching. Goodbye.